And we couldn't be happier to have our good friend Bob Kravitz with us, who is now the reigning Indiana Sports Writer of the Year. Congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I have no idea how that happened, but it happened.
Well, I wonder if it had anything to do with you losing your voice. They're like, man, we love him this way.
Exactly. Well, my wife certainly did.
Yeah.
She's like, damn, your voice is starting to come back. This stinks.
Oh, well, congratulations again. What is that? Down in North Carolina.
Yeah. It's
that, right?
in Winston-Salem. So I'll probably go out there this summer for the awards. I've won it twice previously, and I wasn't able to get out there, but I think I'm going to do it this year.
Well, you can go out there with Chris Denari because he's the sports caster of the year.
Chris Denari is the sportscaster of the year. I voted for him. Very well deserved. I'm shocked that that's his first victory because he's a pro's pro.
Absolutely, both of you are. And we're both appreciative to have both of you guys on. Your beat mainly here of late has been the Colts, and man, that has been a well, it's been like covering Indiana basketball. To be honest with you, it's not been fun, and you don't know where they're headed, and where they're heading after this season. There's going to be tons of questions that have to be answered, and I did see they picked up a lineman from the Cowboys, so they're trying to do some things. But will Chris Ballard remain in his role? There's just a lot of questions for that organization.
Well, Ballard, I think pretty clearly is going to remain where he's at unless they hire a coach who wants, like a Harbaugh, who wants his own guy in there. So then I think things could be changing there. But right now it looks very much like Chris Ballard will be the guy moving forward. And, you know, he was good yesterday. I got to tell you, he was really good yesterday. He fell on his sword and said, I failed the fans. I failed everybody. As opposed to Jeff Saturday, who made just a lot of excuses for why he went 1-7. So I thought that Ballard was on point.
You know, I don't think Saturday owes anybody anything. If I was him, I'd say, hey, who said I could coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Who said I could coach? I didn't say I could coach. So they asked me to do it. I did it. You should thank me because you're going to get a hell of a draft pick because of what I did.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the idea was to tank, they did a hell of a job. I mean, I
firmly believe it, Bob, that they tanked without tanking by doing this. It's a clear way to do it without looking like you're trying to do it.
I thought that was the case initially, but Jim Irsay looks at himself as like a Rooney or a Mara, one of the old school owners. I don't think that Jim would mess with the competitive integrity of the game. I just, knowing him as long as I have, I think he just made a lot of really stupid, emotional decisions in the last year and a half that have conspired to be a tank. But I don't think that was the goal. I don't think that he had that goal in mind, but damn, it worked out well. You know, they got the 4th pick. They may move up to number 1 if they fall in love with somebody like a Bryce Young. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a really intriguing couple of weeks / months.
Tanks, so it's like a tanks but no tanks kind of a thing.
Tanks but no tanks, exactly. You amuse yourself.
I do, man. And it's only with you because I know that you can grab that bull and ride it, and so yes,
and then throw it right back in your face.
Exactly. So the 4th pick, and if they move up, whatever they do, this pick is crucial. How important in the lineage of picks going back to this has got to be almost as important or as important as when they got Andrew Luck.
Well, it's different because everybody's saying like go up and get number 1, and my thing is there's no Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning at the top of the draft. You know, you could you can make the case that any one of 2 or 3 guys, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, or even Will Levis, deserves to be the number one guy.
Can't say Will Levis. He comes from Kentucky.
That's true. But I don't, unless they totally fall in love with somebody, I don't see them moving up, because if they stay at 4, unless somebody trades out and moves up beyond them, I mean, I think in many ways they're going to have to play defense here, because you've got to think that Carolina is going to move up and get themselves a quarterback, and that would leave them with the 3rd option. So if they see somebody they really like, then by God, make the trade. You've got some talent, move some guys along.
What are your expectations? Which is almost akin to asking you to make a prediction, which I know is a guess, but from what you've seen, what's your best guess?
I think they're going to try and move up. I think that Bryce Young is probably the guy. I say that having seen him play maybe 3 times. I'm very impressed by him, but here's the thing. He's 5'11". He's undersized weight-wise. And if you look at the history of NFL quarterbacks, very few sub-6-footers really make it in the league. I mean, Drew Brees is obviously the patron saint of small guys, but there's not a lot of guys at that height who really do well in the NFL. So, it might be Stroud. It might even be Levis. I'm telling you, I know we're not allowed to say his name because of the Kentucky thing, but Levis is going to blow people away in the combine. I guarantee you, because he's got an arm.
And I didn't see him play this year. Just didn't catch a lot of SEC games, especially low-level SEC games. But these guys can come from anywhere. And who do you, of the ones that you've seen, who is your favorite? Who do you like?
Well, I was really impressed with Stroud in the CFP. But, he did a lot of things in that game that he hasn't done previously. Like, he really ran. He used his legs a lot in that game and was very, very impressive. But that's not something he does on a regular basis. But I think that that's something they need to coach him up about and make him use those legs. I mean, he's a little like Michael Penix in the sense that he can run, but he's reluctant to do so. But I think if they could get him feeling like he can use his legs, I think he could be a very effective quarterback.
Speaking of which, how about Michael Penix? He's going to be back. He's coming back to college for another year. And I think that's mainly to show NFL scouts that, hey, dude, I can stay healthy.
That's the big thing.
You protect me and I can stay healthy, but not only can I stay healthy, I can throw for a crap ton of yards, which he did last year. He threw for over 3,000 yards. He lit it up. There's a Jake Plummer is coming back from, I forget Oregon where he went from. He went from Purdue to Oregon, but in the single season out there, he's transferring to Louisville back to Jeff Brom. He threw for almost as many yards, a little over 3,000. I think he threw for like 21 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So there's going to be some quarterbacks that are under the radar maybe, and especially one that is getting tutored by Jeff Brom. Their names are going to be under the radar. So
there's another guy to keep in mind. If the Colts decide not to use their 4th pick on a quarterback, which I suspect they will, but if they, let's say, decide to trade down, which I think would cause a riot in the city of Indianapolis. But Anthony Richardson from Florida probably has the most raw talent of any of the quarterbacks we've mentioned. The problem is he's not ready, and he's a year, maybe 2 years away. And so they would need a bridge quarterback, whether that's, God help us, Matt Ryan or somebody else. But I think this organization has waited too long. I don't think they should overthink this. Just go get the best guy at either 1 if you trade up or number 4, and just hope like hell that Carolina doesn't doesn't step in and screw up all the plans. That's why I'm thinking that trading up for number 1 might be the way to go.